I think it goes without saying that something big is happening, and it might even be bigger than people expect. We're seeing a continued breakdown in Bitcoin dominance, currently at this very second, sitting around 57%. But as you can see, it looks to be accelerating. And really, my prediction over the next few weeks is that these are bi-weekly candles. Each one of these candles that I have right here is a 2-week candle. And I personally think that one of these candles is going to be at least about this size. So nearly a 10% candle to the downside. I'm not predicting that it's going to be tomorrow or next week, but I just think over the next couple of candles, each candle being 2 weeks, we're going to see a very big shift in Bitcoin dominance, a very big drop in Bitcoin dominance, just like we see every 4 years in the alt seasons. Here. I mean, obviously the 2017 alt season was a massive dump episode. But what does this mean? Realistically, what does this mean for you? It just means that we're finally signaling, or how do I say, continuing to verify and truly signal that this alt season, it feels crazy to say, but it feels like this alt season actually is happening, right? But here's the kicker. It's the very, very beginning of alt season. Why do I say beginning? Well, Ethereum is just now, at this very second, really breaking new all-time highs. And it has the possibility of really accelerating. I'm recording right now. By the time you're watching, maybe we're a little lower, maybe we're a little higher. But at this very second, we're right at about $5,000 per ETH. Now, there's a lot of shorts that are going to get absolutely creamed, a lot of liquidations that are going to trigger once ETH breaks above 5,000, which it's never done before. Again, maybe when you're watching this, it is above 5,000. And if you're watching this and it is above 5,000, it's very likely that we're not going to just stop right at about 5,000, specifically because of the reason I just said, because there's a lot of short positions that are going to get absolutely creamed and push the price a lot higher. So there's so many things to be talking about today. And also keep in mind, this is very bullish if you have any altcoins, because this is signaling, this is telling you, it's telling all of us right now, hey, actually, alts are about to make a big move. It just starts with Ethereum. It always starts with Ethereum. ETH has just reached new all-time highs. ETH is actually outperforming Bitcoin right now, finally. This is big. We're also seeing that, as I just said, about $1.63 billion in Ethereum specifically shorts will get liquidated when ETH crosses 5,000 US dollars. This is going to trigger a bigger pump, a very big pump. And we're right there. This could happen. This could have already happened by the time you're watching. It happens very fast, and that's how it tends to, especially with these liquidations, it tends to be very, very, very quick. After that, after ETH breaks 5,000, according to Ted on X, Ted Pillows, ETH, he's saying, will take a break before the next leg up, but about $10,000 per ETH is coming this cycle. I personally think, this is just my opinion, and based on really, I mean, if you're looking objectively at how altcoins move in these cycles, it's very likely that it's going to happen faster than people anticipate. Just like it's taking longer than people anticipated for it to actually happen, like for these signals and these signs to finally start showing us we're going to go to alt season, or these signals that we've been waiting for that are telling us that like alt season is finally coming. Once we're like getting these confirmations, it doesn't take long. It usually, you know, it can just be slow and slow and slow and boring for a very long time. And then out of nowhere, it just pops. It just goes crazy. And I think that's very likely what we're going to see here. Bitcoin dominance is just dumping massively, as I highlighted at the very beginning of the video. This was like the area where we could have gotten faked out right at about 61%, but we didn't hold there. We didn't hold after that initial 10% dominance drop like we did back in December and November of 2024. We had a 10% dominance drop. We held it, and then alt season was canceled. This was signaling, hey, maybe alt season is starting, but it bounced here. Here was our chance to bounce at about 61%. We didn't bounce. And that's further signaling, hey, okay, it's not going to bounce. Dominance is going to start crashing. Altcoins are going to start pumping. Money is flowing into Ethereum. Staked Ethereum is actually surging as well. Investors are long-term bullish. More staked ETH equals less selling pressure. Looks like it's likely we're getting sent higher, and there's a lot of staking. For example, we also see in this post, BlackRock USD Institutional Digital Liquidity Fund, former head of digital asset strategy at BlackRock, focused on Ethereum. It's very likely, right? Ethereum was getting dumped on in terms of sentiment for this entire bull market so far. People were saying they regret keeping money in Ethereum or regret investing in Ethereum. And that's exactly, ironically, right? It always happens, but that is exactly the sentiment and the type of common opinion or consensus around something you want before it actually starts doing really well. Very rarely is everybody mega bullish on something and thinks it's going to go up, and then all of a sudden it just completely goes up and everyone's right and everyone's a millionaire. No, it takes pain, it takes a lot of time. Although, ironically enough, if you just invest in Bitcoin and crypto, like the top cryptos broadly, and you just wait, then you will win. Like, it is that simple. That's all you really have to do. Only about 18.3 million ETH is left on exchanges. The Ethereum, the supply shock is loading as well. We're seeing a massive Bitcoin supply shock that's been, in the making for years, but it's coming. Specifically, I'm more interested in the Bitcoin supply shock, but overall, crypto is just going to go vertical. We also see, according to Ash Crypto, 2 Bitcoin whales dumped Bitcoin to buy Ethereum and staked a little over a quarter of a million ETH worth over $1 billion. Is this, maybe they know that ETH is about to go big time? Well, if it's following the normal trajectory of these cycles, then yes, ETH is about to go crazy here. An 82% gain for ETH would push it above 8,000. And this is what Bitcoin did after breaking its previous all-time high. Ethereum can easily do the same, considering Ethereum's market cap is also a lot less. And are institutions interested in ETH? Yes. There's obvious interest in Bitcoin. The Bitcoin spot ETFs have been the most successful ETFs ever, not crypto ETFs, just ETFs broadly. And I think, as I've been saying for a couple of years, they will be the most successful ETFs ever. And they're still tracking currently to be, and they are already, but I think it's going to be even more explosive. But the most lucrative, the most profitable, the most successful ETFs of all time. And I think Ethereum is also going to perform very well. I don't necessarily think ETH is going to perform as well institutionally as Bitcoin, but I think it's going to do extremely well. And that means you can make an insane amount of money. It doesn't have to be as successful as Bitcoin for you to make a ton of gains, right? It doesn't need to be. All it has to do is be successful. And I think it will be. But BitMine's Ethereum accumulation is also going vertical. They now hold over $7 billion. Yeah, $7 billion. They now hold over $7 billion worth of ETH. That's crazy, actually. And as well, altcoins are extremely oversold. I don't think I have to convince anyone of that. Alts have just been pummeled the past 2 years. I mean, look how low we are in the altcoin index, or in this altcoin oversold indicator. We're very oversold. Altcoins have just been doing horribly, but they're about to become extremely profitable with this rising wedge. I think it's finally time. Alts are about to go crazy. Altcoin season is about to start. USDT dominance is rolling over. A double top is done. Once this breaks, liquidity detonates into risk assets, meaning altcoins. Last time this setup hit, altcoins 10x. Let's say you have some altcoins right now. Let's say you have $10,000 in your portfolio. It's reasonable to expect that your $10,000 is going to be $100,000 within the next few months or higher. I think a 10x on altcoins broadly, just like if you grouped all altcoins together and you took the extremes of maybe a 200x and you took the lows of maybe a 5x, on average, I think a 10x is reasonable to expect for altcoins. And I hope you're already positioned, right? I hope you already have your altcoin. I mean, you should have had your altcoin positions and your Bitcoin positions months ago, years ago even. And I'm assuming most of you do. I think most people do have that. But USDT dominance is dropping, and I think that a reasonable 10x on altcoins broadly, or on your portfolio broadly, is a very realistic target in just the next 6 months or less, before really getting very deep into 2026 at all. And we see the altcoins index is pumping. Monster rally is coming. We see right now we're kind of sit right in the middle here of the altcoin index. We're going to pump. And also, according to 0x Nobler on X, altcoins enter the acceleration phase next week. It's the same pattern every time, and Altseason is confirmed for 2025. Back in 2021, he's saying he spotted it, and now, okay, so it's another, right? You have to be wary of this type of thing, but broadly, I think this is true, right? Maybe the rest of this is just a post to generate him specific money, or income, but specifically in general, yes, this is nothing new. Everyone is aware of this. Really, alt season is starting, and as we see these breakouts with the RSI, MACD, all these indicators signaling that we're about to actually break out in the altcoin market. This is the total 3 chart, so Bitcoin and ETH are excluded, but is the rest of the crypto market. And we're still seeing as well global liquidity going higher. And there's about a 100-day lag, meaning Bitcoin and the entire crypto space still has a lot to go up before we can expect this thing to be over. Now, if we look at the entire altcoin chart, this is the entire crypto space minus Bitcoin. As you can see, we're about to hit a new all-time high in the entire altcoin space. The all-time high was right here about like 1.71 trillion. We're just less than 1% shy of that. We're about to start breaking out. This is a weekly chart. If we closed our weekly candle right here, which we do in just a few hours, by the time you're watching this, I'm sure we will, this will be the highest weekly close the entire altcoin space has ever had. ETH is exploding. Bitcoin dominance is dropping. Alts are going up. What more convincing do you need that we're about to go vertical? What more convincing do you need that altcoins are likely to just start exploding here? Look at the MACD. Look at the RSI. We have a ton of room to run. And I personally think it's likely we will run a lot. When you look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, we've just been going up only for 3 years, right? We bottomed at about 39% dominance. Right now we're at 57% dominance. I think we're going to get at least during this altcoin cycle at some point down back to at least 39%, if not lower. In the 2017 run, dominance got all the way down to 35. Then we got all the way down to about 39. I think excitement, especially institutional excitement around things like Ethereum, Cardano, and other top altcoins, I think are going to really start picking up here. And especially as Bitcoin has been further and further ingrained into mainstream traditional finance, guess what else comes next? Whether you like it or not, a lot of altcoins are going to start getting ingrained as well. And there are billionaires, many of them, pushing for that to happen, lobbying for that to happen. It's going to happen whether you like it or not. So if you can take that opportunity, make a lot of money, make a lot of gains in altcoins, and then take those gains and put them into Bitcoin, and then you have more Bitcoin, I ask, why would you not do that? And there is no good answer why you wouldn't. The easy answer is yes, you will do that, and you should do that, because why would you not? And look at this 20-day chart. Each candle is a 20-day period for ETH. This is kind of the craziest chart, right? I mean, look at this. Just 5 months ago, ETH was at $1,300. People thought ETH was dead. It was getting destroyed compared to Bitcoin. And look at it now. In the past 5 months, it's up about 250%, 260%. And this is likely just the beginning of ETH's breakout. We're just now hitting new all-time highs, just now. I think it's going to get a lot crazier. Now, Bitcoin is just kind of trading sideways a little bit. Still looks fantastic, but it's trading sideways. Very likely the stock market is going to open very bullish when stocks open on Monday. Why? Because Powell at his Jackson's Hole, Jerome Powell at his Jackson's Hole speech was extremely dovish. Very likely we're going to get a rate cut in September. Very likely stocks are going to explode. Very likely crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and specifically altcoins are going to explode. The US dollar is still dumping, currently at 97.7, just as we've been anticipating and we've been expecting. But really the key here is this. It's altcoins. Altcoins are, and this is something I've talked with, and I've read in the comments so many times over the past 3 years. People always say, hey, like sentiment is bad, not because Bitcoin isn't performing. I actually look really red right now. I got burned in the sun yesterday. Holy crap, I look like a lobster a little bit. People have been emotional and bearish, and the sentiment has been really bad in this market because altcoins have been doing so poorly. That's the reason. Bitcoin has been doing really good. Obviously, it's at new all-time highs. It's above 100,000 US dollars. It's crazy. But altcoins have been just dumped on over and over and over and over again. And the whole point of this video is that that is changing. We are getting actual evidence in front of us, technically and fundamentally, why that is finally changing. It's not guaranteed, but let's say it does happen and altcoins really start pumping. One, you're going to make a lot of money if you're invested. Two, you're very likely, if you make that money, you can do whatever you want with it. You can transfer it and buy more Bitcoin, save it in Bitcoin. Let's say you have like half a Bitcoin right now. Maybe you make a ton of alt gains. And now all of a sudden, instead of having half a Bitcoin, you have 2.5 Bitcoin or something. Because you made so many gains with alts that you secured those bags after like multiple X's, 10, 20, 30X on alts. You secure those bags, put them in Bitcoin. And now all of a sudden, you have way more Bitcoin than you could have had if you just invested in Bitcoin. Because altcoin cycles are fairly predictable. And right now, we're literally predicting them. We've been predicting them. Most people are. It's pretty, history is not exactly in terms of time frames and percents, but the same cycle in general has been kind of repeating. So if you know right now, or there's a high chance that we're about to see altcoins explode, and this chart specifically, this altcoin chart is going to do something like this. If this is what happens, and alts maybe they go up to $5 trillion in valuation in the entire altcoin market at some point, right? Maybe it crashes after that and it's not like there forever, but let's say at some point it blows up to this, and then this is what it looks like for the next couple of years. Let's say it blows up like this. Why would you should, ideally, you're probably going to want to take advantage of that and make a lot of gains, right? I think 99% of people watching would say, yeah, of course, that's what I'm planning on doing. I want more Bitcoin. I'm going to do that, right? Why would you not want to do it? If somebody offered you free money, no strings attached, they're like, hey, here's $20,000. I would say about 100% of people watching this video would take it. Why would you not? So if alts are about to blow up, why wouldn't you take it? Why wouldn't you make some gains in alts and then, buy Bitcoin? Again, as I just said though, all of the real signs that we look for altcoins to really start blowing up are showing up right now. And specifically though, Ethereum is the one to watch. Cardano's up right now too though, Solana. Matic is actually up today. XRP, all of these top alts are pumping. MicroStrategy, I wonder if MicroStrategy actually pump on Monday's market open. That'll be interesting. It's not been doing as good, right? Bitcoin's been doing pretty good, but yeah, on Bitcoin's daily chart, it is relatively sideways. And on the weekly chart as well, I mean, this is really bullish either way. Really what we expect Bitcoin to do if alt season really starts is, maybe some sideways, maybe slightly downtrending, maybe even slightly uptrending, but nothing drastic during alt seasons. Usually during alt seasons, Bitcoin just kind of like stays near the all-time highs. And really that's anywhere kind of in this range. Let me actually zoom out. Anywhere kind of in like this range, Bitcoin can just float around anywhere around here. Anywhere above 100,000, honestly. And altcoins pretty much have the runway to pump. So that's pretty big. And get signed up with FEMX, BITUNIX, or BYBIT below if you want to buy Bitcoin altcoins to trade. Without any further ado.